How important is strategic management? It largely determines which organizations succeed and which ones struggle. Differences in the strategies managers choose and how effectively they execute them help explain why a company like Amazon is thriving and Barnes & Noble is floundering, how Facebook all but killed MySpace in social networking, and why Apple is beating Microsoft in the world of mobile computing. But what does it mean to think strategically in management? Strategic thinking means to take the long-term view and see the big picture, including the organization and the competitive environment, and consider how they fit together. Research has shown that strategic thinking and planning positively affect an organization's performance and success. Most managers are aware of the importance of strategic planning, as evidenced by recent research. Of responding executives whose organizations had no formal strategic planning process, 51% said that they were dissatisfied with the organization's development of strategy, compared to only 20% of those at companies that had a formal planning process. Strategic management refers to the set of decisions and actions used to formulate and execute strategies that will provide a competitively superior fit between the organization and its environment so it can achieve organizational goals. Strategic planning and management is all about asking questions such as the following. What changes or trends are occurring in the competitive environment? Who are our competitors and what are their strengths and weaknesses? Who are our customers? What products or services should we offer and how can we offer them most effectively? What does the future hold for our industry and how can we change the rules of the game? Answers to these questions help managers make choices about how to position their organizations in the environment with respect to competitive companies. The first step in strategic management is to define an explicit strategy. This is the plan of action that describes resource allocation and activities for dealing with the environment, achieving a competitive advantage, and attaining the organization's goals. Competitive advantage refers to what sets the organization apart from others and provides it with distinctive edge in the marketplace. The essence of formulating strategy is choosing how to be different as an organization. Managers make decisions about whether the organization will perform different activities or will execute similar activities different than its rivals do. Strategy changes over time to fit environmental conditions, but to achieve competitive advantages, organizations develop strategies that incorporate these elements. They target specific customers, focus on core competencies, provide synergy, and create value. An effective strategy defines customers and which of their needs are to be served by the organization. Managers can define a target market geographically, such as serving people in a certain part of the country, demographically, such as aiming toward people in a certain income bracket, or targeting preteen girls, or by a variety of other means. Some organizations target people who purchase primarily over the internet, whereas others aim to serve people who like to shop in small stores with a limited selection of high-quality merchandise. A core competence is something that the organization does especially well in comparison to its competitors. This competence represents a competitive advantage because the organization acquires expertise that competitors do not have. A core competency may be in the area of superior research and development, expert technological know-how, process efficiency, or exceptional customer service. When organizational parts interact to produce a joint effort that's greater than the sum of the parts acting alone, synergy occurs. The organization may attain a special advantage with respect to cost, market power, technology, or management skill. When properly managed, synergy can create additional value when existing resources will provide a big boost to the bottom line. Delivering value to the customer is at the heart of strategy. Value should be defined as the combination of benefits received and costs paid. Managers help their organizations create value by devising strategies that exploit core competencies and attain synergy. Organizations will thrive with a strategy based on targeting customers, exploiting core competencies, building synergy, and providing value. A SWOT analysis is an audit or careful examination of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that affect organizational performance. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let's take a look. Executives acquire information about internal strengths and weaknesses from a variety of reports, including budgets, financial ratios, profit and loss statements, and surveys of employee attitudes and satisfaction. In addition, managers build an understanding of a company's internal strengths and weaknesses by talking with people at all levels of the hierarchy in frequent face-to-face discussions and meetings. Strengths are positive, internal characteristics that an organization can exploit to achieve its strategic performance goals. On the other hand, weaknesses are internal characteristics that might inhibit or restrict the organization's performance. Managers can obtain external information about the organization, including opportunities and threats from a variety of sources, including customers, government reports, journals, suppliers, bankers, friends and other organizations, consultants, and association meetings. That helps managers discover opportunities that are characteristics of the external environment that have the potential to help the organization achieve or exceed its strategic goals. Versus threats, which are characteristics of the external environment that may prevent the organization from achieving its strategic goals. So managers often start with a SWOT analysis, an audit or careful examination of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that affect organizational performance. The BCG matrix is a concept developed by the Boston Consulting Group that evaluates strategic business units with respect to two dimensions: business growth rate and market share. Business growth rate pertains to how rapidly the entire industry is increasing. Market share defines whether a business unit has a larger or smaller share than competitors. The combinations of high and low market share and high and low business growth provide four categories for a corporate portfolio. The Boston Consulting Group matrix classifies business units as cash cows, stars, question marks, or dogs. The cash cow exists in a mature, slow-growth industry, but isn't a dominant business in the industry with a large market share. Because heavy investments in advertising and plant expansion are no longer required, the corporation earns a positive cash flow. It can milk the cash cow in order to invest in other, riskier businesses. The star has a large market share in a rapidly growing industry. It is important because the additional growth potential and profits should be plowed into the business as an investment for future growth and profits. The star is visible and attractive and will generate profits and a positive cash flow even as the industry matures and the market growth slows. The question mark exists in a new, rapidly growing industry, but only has a small market share. The question mark business is risky. It could become a star or it could fail. The corporation can invest the cash earned from cash cows and question marks with the goal of nurturing them into future stars. And then there's the dog, which is a poor performer. It has only a small share and slow growth market. The dog provides little profit for the organization and may be targeted for divestment or liquidation if turnaround is not possible. The BCG matrix is a simple tool for understanding and analyzing business strategy and formulating appropriate management plans. Porter's 5 competitive forces help determine an organization's position vis-a-vis competitors in the industry environment. Porter's 5 forces include potential new entrants, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of substitute products, and rivalry among competitors. Capital requirements and economies of scale are examples of 2 potential barriers to entry that can keep out new competitors or potential new entrants. It's far more costly to enter the automobile industry, for instance, than it is to start a specialized mail-order business. When it comes to the bargaining power of buyers, informed customers become empowered customers. The internet provides easy access to a wide range of information about products, services, and competitors, thereby greatly increasing the bargaining power of consumers. The concentration of suppliers and the availability of substitute products are significant factors in determining supplier power. The sole supplier of engines to a manufacturer of small airplanes will have great power, as an example. The power of alternatives and substitutes for a company's product may be affected by changes in cost or in trends, such as increased health consciousness that deflects buyer loyalty. Companies in the sugar industry suffered from growth of sugar substitutes. Manufacturers of aerosol spray cans lost business as environmentally conscious consumers chose other products. And finally, rivalry among competitors is influenced by the preceding four forces as well as by cost and product differentiation. With the leveling force of the internet and information technology, it's become more difficult for many companies to find ways to distinguish themselves from their competitors, which intensifies rivalry. Porter referred to the advertising slugfest when describing the scrambling and jockeying for position that occurs among fierce rivals within an industry. So, Porter's 5 competitive forces help managers understand that forces exist that will affect the strategic management of the organization. To find a competitive edge within a specific business environment, Porter suggests that an organization adopt one of 3 strategies: differentiation, cost leadership, or focus. A differentiation strategy is a strategy which managers seek to distinguish the organization's products and services from those of others in the industry. Organizations attempt to distinguish products or services from others in the industry. An organization may use creative advertising, distinctive features, exceptional service, or new technology to achieve a product perceived as unique. A differentiation strategy can reduce rivalry with competitors and fight off threats of substitute products because customers are loyal. However, a differentiation strategy requires a number of costly activities, such as research and design. Companies need a robust marketing department and creative employees who are given the time and the resources to seek innovation. A cost leadership strategy is a strategy in which managers aggressively seek efficient facilities, cut costs, and use tight cost controls to be more efficient than others in the industry. Although cost leadership doesn't always mean low prices, most cost leadership organizations keep internal costs low so they can provide low-cost products and services. A cost leadership position means that an organization can undercut competitors' prices and still offer comparable quality and earn a reasonable profit. The cost leadership strategy is concerned with maintaining stability rather than pursuing innovation and growth. However, cost leadership can certainly lead to growth, as evidenced by Walmart, which became the world's largest retailer with a cost leadership strategy. A focus strategy is a strategy where managers use either a differentiation or cost leadership approach, but they concentrate on a specific regional market group or buyer group. The company uses either a differentiation or cost leadership approach to focus on a specific group by region or by buyer to offer a more narrow target market to one of the other strategies we discussed. In his studies, Porter found that some businesses did not consciously adopt one of these 3 strategies and were stuck with no strategic advantage. Without a strategic advantages, businesses earned below average profits compared to those that use differentiation, cost leadership, or focus strategies. Managers should think carefully about the strategy they'll provide their organization with a competitive advantage. Indeed, many strategy experts agree that execution is the most important yet the most difficult part of strategic management. No matter how brilliant the formulated strategy is, the organization will not benefit if the strategy is not skillfully executed. One key to effective strategy execution is embeddedness, which means there's a deep understanding and acceptance of organizational direction and purpose throughout the organization. When the strategy is embedded, everyone's daily decisions and actions help move the organization in the right direction towards achieving important goals. That is, everything's in alignment, so all aspects of the organization are in congruence with the strategy, and every department and individual's efforts are coordinated towards accomplishing strategic goals. The primary tools that managers use to implement strategy effectively include visible leadership, clear roles and accountability, candid communication, and appropriate HR practices. We'll take a look at each. The primary key to successful strategy execution is good leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence people to adapt to new behaviors needed for putting the strategy into action. Leaders actively use persuasion, motivation techniques, and cultural values to support the new strategy. They might make speeches to employees, build coalitions of people who support the new direction, and persuade middle managers to go along with their vision for the organization. People need to understand how their individual actions can contribute towards achieving the strategy. Managers need to spell out not just what needs doing, but the specifics of getting it done. Managers also need to make sure strategy doesn't conflict with structural design, particularly in relation to managers' roles, authority, or accountability. Managers openly and avidly promote their strategic ideas, but they also listen to others and encourage disagreement and debate. They create a culture based on openness and honesty, which encourages teamwork and collaboration across hierarchical and departmental boundaries. Candid communication supports the cascading of strategy from the top to the bottom of the organization. When everyone feels free to be open and speak frankly, more people get involved in discussing the strategy, so those ideas get debated, adapted, and acted on more quickly. Effective strategy execution requires candid communication with shareholders, customers, and other stakeholders. The organization's human resources are its employees. The HR function recruits, selects, trains, compensates, transfers, promotes, and lays employees off to achieve strategic goals. Managers need to make sure that HR practices are aligned with strategy. Changes in HR practices are crucial to the execution of organizations' strategy across the board. Managers use visible leadership, clear roles and accountability, candid communication, and appropriate HR practices to execute strategy effectively.